Hello everyone and welcome back. In the previous lecture, we have moved a step ahead in building a strong core in Microsoft Excel. Now, in this lecture, we are going to dig deep into this application and understand how to navigate and select data in Excel. Now, before we move ahead, I want to encourage you to check out the description of this video where you can find out a link to access the Excel workbook so that you can follow along with me throughout this course. So before we step into the lecture, let's talk about the topics we are going to discuss in this lecture. So the first one will be navigating and selecting in Excel. So here we are going to take a look at how to navigate and select data in Excel. And after discussing about navigating and selecting in Excel, we will move on to the common Excel shortcut keys. And here I am going to give you a list of some very commonly used shortcut keys in Excel. So let's get started with navigating and selecting data in Excel. Now we are going to jump directly into our Excel application where we are going to observe and visualize the things practically. So here we are inside the application. Now to navigate in Excel, we need to first open up a spreadsheet in which we have some previously added data. So as we have discussed in the previous lecture, to open up an existing spreadsheet, we need to go to the File tab present right here in the menu bar. Then go a little down until you find the open command, and here we can go into browse this and open up that same folder where I have saved my Excel document. So here is my previously created Excel document. Now to load this document into my Excel workbook, I simply need to click on this file and hit open. And when we hit open, Excel will load this file inside our application. So here I have my previously created workbook. Now here in this Excel workbook, we are having two worksheets in which I have added significant amount of data just to show you that how we can navigate and select data in Excel by doing it practically in front of you. Now to navigate in Excel, the easiest way is to use the scroll bars. We have a horizontal scroll bar right here at the bottom which will allow us to go right and left, and a vertical scroll bar down the side which will allow us to go down and up. And at either end of the scroll bar, we can also see some small arrows right here that allow us to make smaller movements. So for example, I can click here to move up one row at a time. Have a look. And if I will click this arrow right at the bottom, this will allow us to move down one row at a time. Have a look. Now, using the scroll bars, however, is not always the most efficient method because sometimes it is quicker to use our keyboard. For example, we have 4 arrow keys in our keyboard, which will allow us to easily move left, down, right, and up, one cell at a time. Now, if we need to make bigger movements, two really useful keys are page up and page down. What they do is take us down one screen's worth at a time. So you can see at the moment, I am on the row 29 here at the bottom. And if I press my page down, you can now see row number 30 at the top and row number 52 right here at the bottom. And now if I press page up, I am back to where I was before. So it's really that simple. And now one super useful shortcut key in Excel is Ctrl plus Home button. So let's press and hold the Control button first and hit the Home button and see what happens. So this shortcut key takes us back to the beginning of our spreadsheet. And in a very large spreadsheet, this can save you a lot of time. Now let's do it once again. Let me go down to the very bottom of my spreadsheet. So here I am at the very bottom of my spreadsheet, and now I am going to press and hold the Control button and then hit the Home button. And here we go. We are back to the beginning of our spreadsheet. Isn't this shortcut key super useful? Now you may also wish to navigate to different sheets within a spreadsheet. If you will have a look at the bottom here, you will see that I actually have two worksheet tabs and each of these is a different sheet. And to move between these, we need to simply click on the appropriate worksheet tab. Now I am going to move to the sheet which is named as Grocery List to look at selecting data in Excel. I am selecting this spreadsheet because it is having lesser data and it will be easier for you to visualize the whole selecting process within a single window. And this is the reason I have entered in a spreadsheet having lesser data. Now to show you how we can actually select different cells, let me change the icon of my cursor so that you can easily visualize the different kind of cursor icons used in the selecting process. So here I have changed the icon of my cursor back to normal. Now to select a single cell, we need to simply click on that particular cell and keep in mind that this is a single click and not a double click. Alright? So this cell then becomes the active cell and you can recognize it because it has got a solid border around the edge. Now if you wish to select more than one cell in your data, click on the first cell in your selection, hold your mouse down and drag to the last cell. And now you will notice that they all become highlighted except for the first one that you started on. Don't worry, it is still a part of the selection. Be very careful when selecting. Make sure that you have this big white cross as your cursor icon. In Excel, there are actually 3 cursor icons you need to look out for. This big white cross is your select icon. But if we come to the edge of the cell, you will notice that we have got a skinny cross with black arrows on the edge. This icon is actually your move icon. So if I click here and drag this cell, what it has actually done is move the data. And wait, I didn't mean to do that. Don't worry. Nearly every mistake in Excel can be undone just by clicking on this undo button in our quick access toolbar. Now, the third icon you need to look out for is a little skinny cross with no arrows. You get this when you hover over the corner of the active cell. And this time when I click and drag, it looks like it is selecting, but actually it has copied the data. Now again, if that's not what I meant to do, I can go back to my quick access toolbar and undo my action. So keep in mind, when selecting the data, we need to have the big white cross. When moving the data, we need to have the cursor icon that is a skinny cross with black arrows on the edge. And while copying the data, we need to have the cursor icon that is a skinny cross with no arrows. Alright? Now to select the entire column of data, we can simply click on the appropriate letters. So in order to select the column C, we can click on the letter C here. And it has selected the entire column named C. In Excel, we can also select multiple columns. Let me show you how. So let's say I want to go from column A to column D. So I will click on the column A, hold down and drag until I get to the column D. So this has selected the entire columns from A to D. Very easy and quick. And of course, we can do the same with the rows as well. So to select the entire row number 6, I am just going to click on the number 6 here. And it has selected my entire row number 6. And now I want you to notice a very small arrow and it is right here between the rows and the columns. And if I click on this little arrow, it will select our whole spreadsheet. Very nice and easy, isn't it? Now sometimes you want to select larger sets of data and clicking and dragging can be quite slow. So another option is to click on the very first cell in your dataset, then hold the shift key and click on the last cell, and that will select everything between your 2 clicks. Isn't it quite easy? But wait, there is something more. An even quicker way of doing this is to click somewhere in the dataset like this and then use the shortcut key Ctrl A. Very nice and quick, isn't it? Now, another thing about selecting data in Excel, sometimes you need to select 2 sections of data that are not adjacent to each other. For example, with the data in column A, you want to select the data in column C or maybe column D. This is called as non-contiguous data. Now, let's see how we can select non-contiguous data in Excel. So let's say I want to select all the items present in the column A along with their price in the column D. So I will start by selecting my grocery items. So here I have selected my grocery items list and now let me go and grab my price list. Oops, I have unselected the list of my grocery items. But why did this happen? Here we need to keep in mind that it is non-contiguous data and we cannot select the non-contiguous data like this. Now let's try selecting them again with some different approach. So I'm going to select the list of my grocery items, but this time I'm going to hold down the Control key and select my price list. And wow, that really worked. So here we got to know that in order to select non-contiguous data within our Excel worksheet, we need to hold down the Control key. Alright? So that's all about navigating and selecting data in Excel. Now it's your chance to give it a go. So get your hands in there and start looking for navigating and selecting data within the Excel application. And now let's get back to our presentation mode where I'm going to give you a list of some most commonly used shortcut keys in Excel. So here we are back inside our presentation mode, and now I'm going to give you the list of some most commonly used shortcut keys in Excel. And I would encourage you to pause the video for a while and note down these shortcut keys in your notebook. Thank you.